buy the wine, they have really good value for money. We want to buy, when we buy a young wine they have, wine that might have a great aging potential, so that you can buy maybe a good price and keep there in the cellar for a little bit, and one actually for early consume. That's definitely something we need to take in consideration.
Hello, this is Ankita. I'm from London Wine Competition, and today we are with Federico at 67 Pall Mall. So great to have you, Federico, for
Thank you very much for having me.
Inside the Drinks Business Series. And why don't we start with you telling us about you? And as we were discussing, it's a long journey you have with 67 Pall Mall. So why don't you tell us about how long you have been with them and how has your role developed over the years?
Okay, I mean, how long I've been working for 67, I almost forgot, because I basically started since day one. Moved from Italy, want to discover a little bit more about international wine, not just to be stuck to the great wine of Italy, but there's something else that was more interesting for me, some wine from Australia, America, England, from anywhere. So I decided to move to 67 to London in 2014. I want to study more. I want to do my WSET course, my course of Master Sommelier, and everything was here in London. So it was easy for me as Italian to travel and come to London. One of my first jobs was at the Gary's on Bermondsey Street, really close to WSET level, school. So I was working as a bar manager there and at the same time studying. A position arises at 67 Pall Mall as a sommelier. I applied, but I wasn't prepared and knowledgeable enough to be in a place like 67. But at the same time, they was kind to offer me a position as a cellar hand. I jumped on it because I really want to be here. And then my journey started. It was 2015, 67 open November 2015 as a cellar hand. And literally when you say I build the cellar, we're a couple of cellar guys over there. A lot of delivery and having in my hands, I remember old vintage of Barolo Monfortino, Lafitte, Petrus,
Amazing.
Yalumba. So everything, things that I heard and I saw just on books where I was studying, and at the time I was actually holding those bottles. So I start from cellar, and then moving, finally I had the opportunity to move as a junior sommelier. Nice. Sommelier, also we have many events happening here, 67, great masterclass, there's a few to mention, they're still in my dream, in my heart. And I became an event manager, so I organizing, of course with the help of and support of the event team, to organize events, so much more involved in everything, see from table from the winery to the table. So we were pouring wine, understanding how much wine you need to pour in each glass, dealing with winery, find the right vintage, the right events, so everything. So that was my role also in organizing glasses. We have amazing Zalto glasses, beautiful but really fragile. So organize this master class with this army of glasses on the table.
Wow.
I remember one of the most famous was the champagne tasting. We have so many, more than 15 prestige cuvée on the table. At the same time, we have like on the table more than 2,000 glasses.
Wow.
Zalto. So it was beautiful to see, but really difficult to handle. That was my experience with event. And moving then to much more involving the sommelier role, managing the club, the lounge, because we have two floors, the lounge room and the club room upstairs, opened in 2017. So be more in charge of lounge, then the club, moving to assistant as sommelier, deputy, and finally head sommelier. So probably, I believe, in terms of wine team, I work in each department of 67, and this will allow me to know this company really from the bottom, where the cellar is, to the top, where we have our club room, and maybe in the future even something else above. We are expanding in many other countries already.
Right,
We
yes.
are in Singapore, we are in Verbier, Bonn is already a project that is happening. Few other European country, few other Asian country, and somewhere else. I can't mention too much, but our CEO, Grant Ashton, is always traveling in many countries, and something else will happen really soon. So a lot of excitement here regarding wines, of course, because our focus, almost dozen wines by the glass here using Curating system, our beautiful Zalto glasses, and much more to come. So that's my role here now as head sommelier.
Amazing. I mean, it looks very diverse. It looks very exciting to me. So when we see that not just the venue, but the events is something that you take care of, it adds up to. So tell us more about how a head sommelier role changes when it comes to a wine club. So as you said that you are taking care of the events, you are taking care of the team. So tell us like a couple of points where you think that it's very different from how head sommelier role is normally in a hotel or a restaurant, and how it is in the wine club.
I think one of the main difference being the head sommelier, or anyway work in a wine club, that you see people much more often. It's not just they come for you for the food or for the wine, but come also for the atmosphere of the club. So you build with them a relationship, as a professional relationship, sometimes friendship.
True.
And also as they see as a wine professional, they ask you about, of course, the wine that you have on the list,
Correct.
but also what they should buy, which country they should go, how organize a wine trip to visit a winery based on your experience. Sometimes it happens I go sometimes in Barolo, they see something that I posted, okay, you went to visit this great guy, Gianluca Colombo, is an upcoming producer, where is he based, I would like to visit.
Wow.
So everything you do, it really reflects. So it's really important. Also working in a wine club to me is really respect the rules of the club, because whatever you do reflects 67 Pall Mall. Even when you travel, you are a professional, so whatever you post, whatever you drink, it makes a difference, and a member will ask you to do. So there is this professional relationship and friendship relationship, and I say you see them much more often. As head sommelier, also you have to mentoring your team. You need to keep them always up to the standard of 67, teaching them based on your, not just on knowledge on the book, but on
the real
situation. Because you might have, they're all different members, but every time they have the same attention, but every time it's got different personalities. So there's some people that like to be left alone at the table, but they won't ask you, they will never ask you maybe for a glass of wine. You should know really what they want, exactly. And some other people, they just want you to choose exactly, or something always surprise me. But surprise can be by quality, by style, by price. It can be a surprise sometimes. So there are so many different approach, and that's the beauty of 67. You need to really to know who you have in front of you. That's the secret of being in a wine club.
That's correct. I mean, the customer handling, one-time customer is different, but taking care of your members is something where you have to go more about networking, relationship building. You have to be very proactive in terms of understanding what the members are looking for, what is their purpose of visit. So I think
and also we work in hospitality, and this is important because it's also about the experience, because one-time customer, I'm not saying it easier to handle, but you can give your 100%. It's like a more a sprint. We work in a marathon style. You see them every time. You need to be constant and give it the best of you, but spread in different situations. So, and that's the most difficult thing, to be consistent in the service and the relationship and the quality. That can be quality as yourself as a person, but also quality of the wine, the delivery. So always having the best wine on the list. It doesn't have to be the most expensive. It has to
true.
be the
Yeah.
best wine of that vintage, the best wine of the region. So involve a lot of study, always need to be updated, a lot of traveling, and a lot of tasting around London. Thankfully, we are in London, and that's the reason why I came.
Correct.
Every day there is tasting of wine, of Israeli wine we have yesterday evening, Italian wine, Spanish wine, Australian wine. So it's the beautiful. You can compare them. You become a professional not just on assessing quality of the wine, but also understand if this wine is the price of the wine is the best. I might have a great Nebbiolo from north of Italy, but a great
Correct.
Nebbiolo from Australia. So is the price correct? Is the quality what you expect? So it's a beautiful place, London. There's a lot of competition,
True.
but also it's always seen. I believe few city in the world in terms of benchmark for wine professional. I would say New York, London, really competitive in terms of industry, but the best people in the industry, most knowledgeable people, they always are around these two cities, I would say. Something
Great.
also in Singapore, but definitely London and New York always been the benchmark for. If the wine is really appreciated in London and New York,
True.
it means that definitely it's got
The
a long way.
standard has gone up already. Yeah, great. So I want to pick your brain more on the wine list. So as we were discussing before, so when it comes to curating a wine list, now let's talk about something which you are coming up with. That means curating a wine list altogether for a new country. So what London people want is definitely going to be different than what Singapore wants. So tell us about how do you go about curating a wine list for a new country? Like, because you are involved in the project, I'm sure you have in and out information, or you are yourself helping out the Singapore Wine Club. So what does it goes when you curate a wine list for a new country? What criteria or factors do you keep?
When you curate a wine list for a new country, also you need to see if this country is a winemaking country.
Okay.
It's a winemaking country. You also need to be kind and careful on how you compare the wine from the country to other wine. If you go to France, of course, it's really strong in winemaking. So we got probably among the most amazing wines. So it's also important to bring a high quality, compare the prices, see if the grape variety are international grape variety, French grape varieties, even if you go to Italy. Then if you create a wine list for a country that is also a winemaking country, you have much more space of maneuver. That's most important. Also it's important to see taxes, shipment cost, and also availability of wine in this country, how they travel. So it depends where the wine travel to, and to see if the wine that is the right importer, if there are trustable sources, if it's a wine for everyday consumption, it's a wine for collectible. We like to know where this wine comes from, because we'd always like to give the best to our members and the best to in terms of genuinity of wine. A lot of relations with the winemakers, so we are quite safe on that. But definitely, yes, it's one of the most important thing. Price, where you source your wine, how you can be able to get this wine, and also the final cost of the wine. If taxes affect the wine, cost, shipping, because competition with wine, it can be, I was making an example before, I'm Italian and I love my Barolo, but sometimes doing some other testing, you'll find your Nebbiolos from other area in the world. For example, if you go to, we don't have anything yet there, but if you open a club in Italy and you start selling Australian Nebbiolo, you need to be knowledgeable about the grape, how it performs, and how you can sell it in a market where there's stronger culture of wine and of the grape. So you need to be careful. You might be able to export some other different wine that are not famous in the country. So when you go to France and you want to sell Pinot Noir or Bordeaux blend, you need to be able to say, yes, this is a great wine, and compared to the greatest wine of France, Bordeaux blend on Nebbiolo, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, Cabernet Franc, you need to tell them why you decide to go for this Bordeaux blend from another country, and why I have to pay this amount of money when I can get something for cheaper or more expensive for a different quality. So there are so many things involved: quality of fruits, quality of wine, style, price. So this is all information they are involved in making a wine list for
a new country.
a new country.
That's interesting. And how much does suppliers and distributors have a say in this?
Definitely, I believe everybody who tastes and knows about wine has a say. So feedback are always welcome. Of course, the decision then is ours in a way, because we need then to see if it fits in our budgets. If it's almost most important, going back to a country, to see where people they are in the country are from. Singapore, for example, is a country that got many people, foreign people. London also is a people that our members are mainly from UK, British, but also you have a lot of American, French, Italian, Asian people. So their taste may be different. The culture of wine is different. So you need to be aware of supply and distributors.
Yes.
So yes, that's really important. You need to also see which distributors. It's really important having great relationship with distributors, especially from 67 Pall Mall. They're always looking for niche wine, the best vintages. We always like to be on top of the list of our distributor, because maybe a couple of bottles of Cheval Blanc 1947 and there are a few bottles and many people they want it. So relationships are really important. Also small producer that they would like you to taste, to give a feedback, and then it might be a great new upcoming producer. So that's what it can happen.
So when we talk about wine lists, so I'm sure that when you put down a wine list, there might be some things which are going to work and something which might not work. So there might be some non-performing units and there are performing units. So how do you make sure that when you're making a wine list, it becomes at least the profitable one, it close to the being a profitable wine list? So what are the factors that you consider to make it near to the profitable wine list?
I mean, to make to the profit, always to buy the wine that you can sell. Buy the wine that have really good value for money. We want to buy, when we buy a young wine that have, wine that might have a great aging potential, so that you can buy maybe a good price and keep there in the cellar for a little bit, and one actually for early consume. That's definitely something we need to take in consideration as an investment, as wine, especially a certain area. Also, the period of the year is really important when you buy wine. Of course, the amount of port or fortified wine, Madeira wine that you sell during November, December, the same amount of wine that you sell in spring. Maybe spring we like to focus a little bit on our rosé from Sicily, from Provence, from other parts of the world. So season is really important. Some special celebration that can be, as I say, before Christmas, or maybe the hunting season. So when you have much more gamey food, really old Burgundy, old Barolo will help. So we follow also, it's really important. A glass of wine on its own is great, but a glass of wine is also goes even better with the food. So also we check what's food with our chef is available on the season. We have these great oyster this month, or mussels, or great seafood. We maybe focus a little bit more on white wine, so we emphasize a little bit. Also prior service with our sommelier. We easily, guys, we have this great Burgundy to sell. The menu is based on this seafood for this period. Let's try to push a little bit this wine. Can be white Burgundy, Hermitage, white wine Albarino. So we try not to focus just on the most prestigious area. But as I say, we have wine from many countries, so we can really sell what our members want. Sometimes the request is straight, I want that, that and that, and sometimes it just surprise me and give me something that you think, something similar option. So we like to discover every day something new.
Great. So I think as much as it takes for you to make a new wine list in a new country, at the same time when you are in a city like London, and where the taste changes, where things changes over a couple given months, how do you keep your wine list updated and relevant? What sort of activities do you do? What sort of decisions you make? What do you do? Whether you go for research, whether you see, whether you do a lot of tasting yourself. So how do you keep your wine list updated for city where you are based and you are sitting?
I think that one of my previous colleagues, Terry Candilis, always say knowledge is power. So I believe above everything is always important knowledge. So keep yourself updated, but literally study, reading, magazine, online, feedback from friends. That are one of the most important things. So always know what's happening in the market, what's happening in the wine region, study, traveling,
Correct.
going to visit winery, going to visit new wine region or wine region that you may be strong in certain area, but always there is some new producer, and testing. And testing is and talking with people, because we sometimes check every year and Premier Bordeaux, every year in Premier Burgundy, Bulgari, Anteprima, and you see the style might change. Why the style change? Different in the climate. Different in the winemaking process, different in the way on the style, because maybe the palate of the new generation is much more different. So the whole school, I would like to call it that, like something I would say, I don't know, much more richer, riper, a little bit more creamier. Nowadays people like me fresher, approachable wine, knowledge, because of our internet, much more availability of wine courses and knowledge, make people more knowledge and to discover a new country. So maybe a new grape variety, much crunchier, fresher, maybe with ready to be drunk in
like
the first
RTDs
year.
which are coming, yeah.
Exactly, that says maybe. So that's really affect how to make a one list, how to deal with distributor, and also people that change. In a city like London, you have a lot of people moving to a supplier to another. Correct. So it's beautiful also to see a new idea and a new project. So always people come to us offering wine to taste, and I like to take that because it's a way to know what's happening. Testing, the more you test, the more you understand. It also is a good training for the wine team. Going back to the mentoring, talking with the winemaker, nothing can give you better knowledge than talking who makes the wine, who lives every day in the vineyard, who can give you all the reality and knowledge about. Some people are interested in how much the alcohol is, pH, volatile acidity. Some people are much interested in what aroma, the primary aroma of this wine has. So that's the beauty of also testing. Great. Also the feedback of our member, because our members are
I was about to ask that. How much do you consider?
Definitely yes, because I mean our members are wine professional, so in the trade, master of wine, master sommelier, wine buyer, so people that work in the industry, but also wine lover, because the feedback is also really technical sometimes. But I always say it's the wine that speaks. I always take in consideration my mother feedback and my girlfriend's feedback, because sometimes is what actually, would you like to drink this wine, yes or no? And this is much more sometimes than, the oak is really well integrated, it comes from whatever. So feedback of people that drink a wine is really, really important to me. So wine lover is what we have here. And they're the end
consumer. I mean, eventually that is the bigger part of what people are going to consume.
In the end, is also, we are a business, we need to sell, and also we need to make our one list in a way that reflects all the offer worldwide in the world, but also what people would like to drink. 667 will have been renowned, for their great Burgundy, great Bordeaux, old Barolo, old Bulgari, great Napa. So everybody has a say in a different country.
So basically on the roll, how much your time goes when it comes to doing the event? So my question that is going to follow up there is, which you can also include in your answer, what sort of events do you take up? When you decide this year 67 Pall Mall wants to go for these many events for the members, how you make the decision? How you make the decisions of what are the events that you want to do? Are those events comes from a request of the members, or you decide to do this on your own for the members? So how do you decide on the events?
When we decide our event, of course we start to schedule them as much ahead as we can, because we like to invite winemaker here, so they already have their international trip already set up. So
Correct.
at least a year in advance with certain winemaker, because we want to have them in the perfect time of the season. If a Bordeaux and Premier, Burgundy and Premier, Sangiovese, Brunello, so we like to have them in the right time of the year. So we need to start talking with them at least a year in advance. Of course, requests come from members. Sometimes our sommelier are involved in running blind testing, bespoke event
Correct.
for them,
Oh, yes.
Malbec from around the world, Syrah from around the world. So that's our educational event. Sometimes our member ask also, it depends, we have few private room and a big room downstairs. Some members, they want to impress their colleague and they want to organize a wine event, and they
Nice.
tell us to choose. They give a budget and we talk about whatever they decide, or just we have like a blank sheet and we can choose whatever we want. So we
Right.
have some, of course, scheduled events during the year. We have some bespoke events, and always in hospitality, the last minute event. Can you organize that for? Yes, we can. We try to do as much
That's
as we
great,
can, but
yes.
it's the reality of hospitality. So everything is planned well in advance.
there's always,
but there are always, those dates that, of course,
The
when
surprises that keeps on
surprise
coming.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Events take a long time to organize, because it's not just about, okay, shall we do the 16th of April? You need to decide the event. You need to find the wine. Sometimes they're available in London with their importer. Sometimes you deal directly with the winemaker. You discuss about price, about the right vintage that you would like to have. Then you discuss if it's a wine dinner, if it's a wine tasting, which kind of glasses they want. I like to have my Sangiovese in a nice Burgundy glasses, and the winemaker maybe wants in a universal because it's smaller, closer, and more
Correct.
the aroma, they feel better. So you need to speak about that, how many glasses you want. If you want to pre-pour the wine, double decanted, keep in the right temperature the night before.
Correct.
There are so many things involved. Then when a guest has his glass and his wine in his hands, that's the hands. But there is a lot of little bees behind that prepare everything. So it takes
That's
a
true.
long time to deliver an excellent service that we like to provide every time here at 67.
Amazing, I think. So I see a lot of your team members all around the wine club. So can you just tell us more about, when it comes to a wine club, let's say 67 Pall Mall, what sort of roles exist here? Like what all they do? Like, is there a role for like wine cellar person? There's a role for a sommelier. So what sort of the basics and the important roles? I mean, all the roles which are there in 67 Pall Mall.
I mean, 67 is quite big. We grew a lot in the few years. So role of 67 are the classic, I would say, from junior sommelier to head sommelier. Then we have a cellar team. We are lucky enough to have people that actually put away the delivery, they bring the wine to us, which some people sometimes they don't consider, but when you have a lot of wine delivery and someone put it away for you, there's a great relationship between cellar and wine team. We have an event team, of course, the front of house that will help us on the food. We are just really focused on wine. We have actually a team dedicated just to look after our precious and beautiful Zalto glasses. So, and this is another benefit of 67. You have 7 barback that look after this. They actually set up rooms, because you have a St. James room where we do up to 60 people master class with an army of glasses over there. So we have people who set up the room, people who organize and decide how many wines, how many glasses are going to the table, people who print the mats. Sommelier team is not just involved on service, they check if all the wines printed and written on the mat are reflecting the right wine, the right vintage on the bottle, the right appellation, the spelling. We really like to check in a maniacal way that everything has to be spot on. When we get the wine delivery, there is the cellar team, the check and boxes, everything has been delivered. So it's a big operation, from event, from restaurant, from people that study, come here and say, I'm preparing my Corton Master Sommelier exam, my WSAT, can you prepare a flight of 6 wine blind? a lot of
Nice.
exchange also with
Very nice.
the hospitality people that come here. We like this relationship. Can I come tomorrow 10 in the morning before I start my service to a blind testing, and next time I go to see them? And it's beautiful to keep this relationship between people. And then again, you exchange feedback. Oh, do you know what? I had blind testing at that restaurant, and they told me that it's a beautiful Malbec from whatever. Why don't you try? I'll invite the winemaker. He's actually in London
so
next
it's a
week.
relationship that
And
keeps
that
on going.
really
Correct.
keeps everything up to date. So going back to the team, junior sommelier, sommelier, senior sommelier, event sommelier, head sommelier, the two deputies, and also an event team that help to bring wine scenes, a buying team
Team, okay.
that also help, because we sit down, we test together, we decide what to buy, we check the price on the market. This is something that we would like to,
The budget is for.
the budget
Yep.
is for, and we are willing to spend that money
True,
for that.
true. Great. What, according to you, being so close to these trade people, close to the wine lovers, close to MWs and MS and your members, you get a lot of information about what is going on in the market, what people are liking, what they are drinking, what they prefer to drink, according to you, where the UK wine industry is moving, what are the changes do you see, and next, for example, 2023, how the wine scene is going to be. What are the things that you, being a head sommelier, you are going to implement here in 67 Pall Mall? So can you just quickly help us out?
I can give you like a few numbers. We remember when we started here, we had 1/2 sparkling wine. When I think about UK, there is a beautiful still wine, white and red, but definitely the focus nowadays, at the moment, it will be also for still wine. It's much more on the great traditional made of sparkling wine of UK. When I start here, we had, I think, 2 wine by the glass or on the list, and nowadays we have almost all of them. So I'm not going to mention the number because basically all of them from sparkling from UK. I can see also the prices changing of them and the quality increasing. But definitely I can see the UK markets getting better and better for reason they are. Climate is getting much more better climate for grape variety, mainly, let's say Chardonnay and Pinot Noir for traditional method wine. The quality of the fruits, the sunshine in UK, although a day like that, it seems to be.
I was about to say that we are not
today,
seeing
but sunshine.
yes,
So the quality of the ripeness of the grape is getting much better to have this traditional wine. The quality also much more knowledge and much more time spent in making wine, give you much more better quality wine. And I can see also, I travel, I remember in a couple of trips, I've seen a few of the important sparkling wine winery exported in other countries that I couldn't believe that was their English wine, because they were strong for sparkling wine in that country. So I think quality is increasing, the climate is changing. And also is helping to get a better quality wine, and also knowledge and awareness of who makes wine, investing more money, investing more in people who makes the wine, and what else can make him that, and awareness of also the customer.
Is increasing,
I've seen in the last year many people that say can have, not just British people from everywhere, because 67 offer wines from everywhere in the world. People coming to me and say can have an English sparkling. So that is definitely something that is changing. It's not just focused on champagne, but on other sparkling country. But definitely UK is doing well. I can see how much we are buying now in terms of wine from UK, what we used to do, and is always a plus. So increasing that, and I believe in the next 5 years it will be even more quality, quantity, and awareness from people.